So I have been thinking more about Ian. This is the baby's social worker. And the more I think about it, the more angry I am actually over it. Because, okay, so Sophie and the baby were supposed to come and live with me. And just on the day he was born, he called me up and says he's seen my YouTube videos. He knows that he thinks that I'm Christ and that he doesn't think that the child should come up and live with me. And then he passed it on to Sophie, and I didn't hear much of what she said, but he said to Sophie, you know, what I've said is not nice, and it's not nice to say that. It's my opinion. I'm allowed to say what I want, and yeah, and but and then that's it. No more contact. No more contact from him whatsoever. I tried. I was basically feeling sick because it was like, okay, well, if the child's not going to come and live with me, then it means that he's going to live in my mum's hoarding, messy 2-bedroom flat with my dad who lives in his bedroom and basically just shuts the door and he just stays in there. So basically, it's like a 1-bedroom. It's not like a 2-bedroom. It's like a 1-bedroom, and then my dad lives in his bedroom. But yeah, the place is completely inappropriate. My sister just sleeps on the sofa when there. There is a nice bed, but yeah, everywhere around is just junk and piles and dust and dirt. And you could tell that my mom was going to be a useless guardian because she doesn't think there's anything wrong with Sophie. She thinks that everything is fine and normal. And yeah, just the thought of having to leave the child in this situation was just like really, really sick, especially considering in the hospital, like my mom hardly was there. She was there during the birth. I came, she left after 2 hours, or maybe 3-4 hours. I think she stayed. But yeah, the next day she came for like 2 hours, and again the day after that she came only when we were ready to take the child home. And when I got home, she was complimenting Sophie about what amazing job she was doing. And in reality, it was just like, you weren't in the hospital. You have no idea what happened or who did what. And yeah, it was, I felt really sick. And then I had to go. And then I did come back the next day because I had a feeling that maybe the baby wasn't feeding and needed the sterilized bottles. The sterilized bottles were in my house. So I brought them down, and yeah, it was sad to hear that she'd gone to the call center and stuff, like taking a 4-day-old baby to a call center to sit in a cafe for 2 hours, whilst I thought that was wrong, but it was Sophie's will, and Linda was just like, oh yeah, well, if you think it's a good idea, then so do I. She was very much like that, and yeah. I kind of just felt sick about the whole situation, and it was just like I wanted to say things to the social worker, but because he just kind of like abandoned me, that's what it felt like. It felt like I was just the idea of the child coming to live with me. That idea was just completely abandoned for no reason other than my videos, which mean so much to me. And yeah, it was like no recognition to how useful they are or how nice it is for me to relieve and say what's going on. And then, I started noticing more and more problems. And well, what can you do in that situation? Because you know that you're going to leave and the child's going to be left in this situation. So I had to film a few things, so I can kind of like either have it as a memory. So if she does lose the child, I can look back and say, oh, you did do this, remember? But yeah, then I was kind of like, well, I want to show this to the social worker, but I feel like he's just cut me off. And then I've got this report that I had the week earlier, which just brands me incapable, unsuitable, don't know what the social worker's concerns are. Just a big, long list of insults, basically. Insults that are completely not true. And I'm very, very confused because it's like my mum has no clue what the social worker's problem, what their worries are. She doesn't think there's anything wrong with Sophie. She thinks everything's fine and normal. She's completely batty, talks to strangers. There's a big long list of mental conditions that I think she's going through. And yeah, so I was just kind of really confused as to why the baby was living here and why he wasn't allowed to come up to live with me. I wasn't on the social worker's side because it's just like, well, you've given my mum a good report. You do know that from the age of 6, I realized what a useless mum my mum was, and so started raising myself and my sister. Like that's how bad. I was the mother of the house since the age of 6 because my mum's mentally, I don't know. She's in some ways she's better than Sophie, but in some ways she's worse as a mother than Sophie. And so I was just really confused as to this. And it's like you don't want to go to the social workers because you don't want the child to go into foster care, but on the other hand, you can see all the problems that the child is facing in this situation, the situation that the social workers were happy to let Sophie live in, and yet they weren't, and they didn't give me a good enough reason. I wanted to know why the child was in this situation. I mean, if it's for health reasons, if it's because they say the granny, if it's, if the child is if they say that he's living with the granny because grannies have more rights than aunties, well, fine. But they never said anything. They just literally just he's just shut his mouth basically, and he just like blanked me out. And I still think that there's a high chance that the child is going to be taken away, because I feel like Sophie isn't able to work out, because I think the problem with Sophie is that she thinks she's doing a good job, when she might not be, and she doesn't know that she's doing, like, she doesn't see danger. If there's problems, she will just be like, oh, this isn't a problem, and that's the problem. Her thinking that things that are problematic aren't problematic. So I cannot get any answers from her. I know she's given a list of options, and I'm one out of like many options, but the other options seem absolutely shit. And so if she's comparing me to just a long list of shit options, then I feel like I just, there's no way I'll be able to gain rights to the child through her, because she just doesn't know what is good, what's a good idea and what's a bad idea. I don't know if I should go to a solicitor, because I have called the solicitor, but the solicitor says that they only talk to the people that representing. He's Sophie's solicitor, he's not my solicitor. I don't feel like I can go to the social services, because this Ian guy is just kind of blanking me out, not talking to me. And there was a big long list of other people, but I don't know if Ian's opinion of me is just his opinion, or if it's all of their opinions. Everyone just basically stopped talking to me. And I had a meeting with someone who basically said that it's the council's decision, that you're not right and we're not suitable, and if the child gets taken away, we're not going to recommend you. So if the child is about to be taken away, like if their plan is to go to court next week and take the child away, am I going to even know? If Sophie doesn't know any court dates, I mean, there's supposed to be, she's told me just today that if I wanted to test I've already tested. I've already given a 12-page list of all the reasons why this report that they've made against me is inaccurate in every single way. And yeah, I've already done that. But yeah, she's told me that she's received an email saying that I have to respond by the 28th of April. I'm like, I think I've already responded. The problem is I don't know who I need to respond to, because this email wasn't sent to me. It was sent to her. And so it's just like, what? I don't feel like the social services are on my side in any way, because they rather the child be brought up by people who are making money out of him than being brought up by people, by his family. So I feel really angry over that. I feel really angry over that. And I feel like, I don't know, Ian's not talking to me. I don't have any other contacts in the social worker group. And if I did have contacts, would they even tell me that there's a court case coming? Why? Because if they don't want me to have the child, surely not telling me about the court case is how to keep me. I feel like there's so many secrets, like Donnie wanted to know if he's the father or not. And we've known for a week, but Sophie wasn't sending the form because she, I don't know, wanted to punish him or something. And he was just contacting me over and over again. And now Ian's had a sort of go at me for sending the form to him. He's in the form. He wants to know if he's a father or not. He has a right to know. And the fact that he got angry at me for sending that makes me feel like, well, maybe he didn't want this form to be sent to him. Why? Because he likes the fact that he's going on, and all he's doing is backstabbing Sophie and just saying all the things that she's doing wrong and all the reasons why she can't. But if he's trying to build up a case against Sophie, him thinking that he's a father and saying all these things is probably actually working, for that side of it, because that's pretty much what his agenda is. His agenda is to say loads of list of things as to take the child away. But yeah, if the thing is though, his reports are completely unreliable. He said told me today the only reason why I failed and had a really bad report from these people is because all I was doing was going on about my religion and trying to convince people that I'm Christ or something. I was like, no, I didn't say my religion. I didn't talk about religion in any sort of way. And the fact that he would talk about it as if I 100% was doing that, it's like, I wasn't doing that. I didn't do that. So why are you know, he also thinks that he's best friends with Ian and that they're going to have lunch later on. So I think he's a bit, I don't know, I cannot trust anything that he says, but I know that his words are not solid or not reliable. And yeah, so why doesn't Ian want me to give him, you know, the confirmation that he's not the father? It's just like, you know, does he want all this nonsense, this nonsense talk? You know, some of it's right, and some of it, a lot of it is just not accurate at all. And but yeah, I'm getting highly suspicious over everything because no one's talking to me. So I'm trying to come up with loads of different reasons as to why they're not talking to me or what their plan is. And yeah, I mean, maybe they're just not talking to me because they don't want me to report it on. But I'm going to do that because this is what I do. This is what I make YouTube videos. And you know, if I'm not Christ, then I'm not actually getting anyone watching these videos. And I don't think anyone really gives a shit. Because that's what this world is like. But yeah, I'm really upset. Why? Because this child could be living with me right now. Okay, I don't really want my sister living here. But I understand that she's a mother and mother comes with baby. But yeah, it's highly likely if she did come with me, she probably wouldn't stay for very long. Because she would get bored and stuff. But yeah, I kind of wanted to convince myself that they were ignoring me because they wanted to help me. But yeah, after the conversation I've had with him, I do not believe that that's the truth. And so now I'm just kind of angry again as to what's going on. And I don't even know what to do in this situation. You know, I can't talk to my sister because I don't think she knows what's going on. I can't talk to the social worker because I can't talk to any of the social workers because this stupid report written by a stranger, you know, says that I'm incapable of looking after kids. Hence, I shouldn't have rights to this child. And so I can't trust anything they say. You know, I've got a feeling that if there is a court case coming where I can stand and say I want to have the rights, you know, I've got a feeling they wouldn't even tell me about it because they don't want me to have the child. So why would they tell me? They would assume that Sophie's going to tell me, and they'll probably even encourage her not to tell me. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but I don't know. I'm I'm just I just need to wait to see what's happened. But yeah, I'm going to try and get hold of Ian's boss and make a complaint. You know, I've sent Donnie some videos of Sophie doing things wrong, and he's now threatening to send them all over the internet. And you know, I don't think he actually will, but he has sent them to a lot of people already. I know that. Or he keeps saying that he sent them to professionals, and because of these videos, the professionals have told him that Sophie's got Down syndrome and things like that. It's like, yeah, if professionals have said that Sophie's got Down syndrome, then I don't think they're professionals because Sophie doesn't have Down syndrome. Down syndrome is a genetic disorder. Okay, he said the characteristics of Down syndrome, but she doesn't have the characteristics of Down syndrome. No, it's very different, and it's just yeah, I don't know, but I feel like I'm in this mess because I can't talk to Ian, I can't talk to the social workers, so I'm going to Donnie instead, and Donnie's a far worse option because he doesn't give a shit about Sophie and anything. But yeah, I shouldn't be in this mess. The social workers should be working with the family and saying what's happening. And you know, if someone is mentally ill and might lose a child, they need to go to the relatives. Even if they don't think the relatives are good, they need to give the relatives a chance and to know when the court case is or when what the likeliness that Sophie's going to lose the child. You know, I don't know. I don't even know if it's worth getting solicitors involved because maybe Sophie is doing a good job. I don't know what the social workers think. I mean, maybe the social workers have put Sophie in this care centre because they think I'm the danger or something. Like, I really have no idea what's going on in their head. And the fact that they're just ignoring me just means that they are not good social workers. Social workers are supposed to be social, as in talking to everyone, even if they don't think someone should have the child, they still need to give them information about what's going on, because otherwise they're just going to start coming up with conspiracy theories about what could be going on, and I'm fed up of it.